everyone, it's Don once again with another look at the construction going on here in the villages. First up is the Aviary Recreation Center. This is the 100th recreation center that just opened here in the villages. Just beyond it is the village of Hawkins. At Aviary, there's cornhole, there's 6 pickleball courts, a couple of tennis courts, shuffleboard, bocce, a swimming pool, and of course the building. I'll have a little closer look at the inside of Aviary in an upcoming video. This is Magnolia Plaza with Citizens First Bank on the left, and on the right is one of the retail buildings. Here we have Publix flanked to the left and right by additional retail buildings. It's my understanding that Magnolia Plaza will be opening in about 2 months. That information is still unconfirmed, but I'm sure as soon as it is confirmed, it'll be great news for all the residents south of State Route 44. This is the new building for the new Villages Golf Carts facility. This is the village of Hamock at Finney. That's the Gray Fox golf course on the right, and the Red Fox coming up also. Just to the left of the pond is where the Hummingbird Postal and Recreation Center is being built. In the upper left corner is the intersection of Warm Springs and US 301. Most of the utilities are now in this area, so it won't be too much longer until houses start being built. This is the area north of DeLuna where Marsh Bend Trail ends. You can see the roadbed is being cut in. Lots of work is going on right now in grading the property. You can see the big off-road dump trucks moving lots of dirt around in preparation for all of this work. Right about here is where the DeLuna Postal and Recreation Center is going to be. Up ahead you can see the big stockpiles of soil that are being staged in preparation for final grading of this area. 2 weeks ago I met with a member of Rainey Construction, and now I'm working on a video that kind of explains all the process that we always see going on that nobody really understands. So look for that in about 2 or 3 weeks. This is heading south again, back towards the village of DeLuna and the Water Lily Bridge. This is the Water Lily Bridge. You can see they've put the 3 main beams in over the utility easement. At the end of this video, there's a time-lapse version of it played at 10 times normal speed that shows a couple of the beams being put in place. You're seeing this video at about 4 times normal speed, so I could fly my drone in a very controlled, low-speed manner, so I could cross the bridge like this without going over the traffic itself. The north side ramp is well underway for construction. Of course, the big news in the last week has been the opening of the Brownwood Bridge, Megison Road, and the accompanying multimodal path all the way down to Warm Springs Avenue. This is the north side ramp of the Brownwood Bridge. It really is a very pretty drive across this ramp. Two and a half years ago I did a flight over the area where Megison Road is now open. I had forgotten I'd actually shot that video footage, and I decided after looking at it again, it's time to do another side-by-side comparison. So here we go. This starts out over the south ramp of the Brownwood Bridge and progresses south. first leg of this is flown at about 150 feet, and one of the big things you first notice is the color differences. Remember that the top one was filmed July 1st of 2018, and the bottom one was just this past week, in the middle of our dry season. The top one is in the middle of the wet season, so there's a big difference in foliage. Developing this area presented a lot of challenges. As you can see, there's a huge amount of wetlands area that was preserved. Because there was so much wetlands here, this was a very rough, undeveloped area. It wasn't even used for pasture land. Most of the greenery that you see is either small scrub trees or weeds. During the initial flight, I had to rely on the construction roads, and even then it was pretty rough getting back here. Of course, now we've got Megison Road, and it was much easier to make this flight. Lake Okahumpka is off on the upper left. You can see more stockpiles now in preparation for the final grading that's going to happen in a couple of months. You can see the turnpike up ahead along the upper edge of this shot. This is the other side of the turnpike, where you can see the village of Marsh Bend and DeLuna and the Water Lily Recreation Center. The original video was shot by a less knowledgeable and conscientious pilot, whereas the new one was shot out of sequence from the entire footage to bring some continuity to the flight. You can see the Water Lily Bridge coming into view now. The drone is just below 400 feet now, and we'll stay at this altitude and take the trip back up north towards Brownwood at this altitude. Back on the north side of the turnpike now, you can see the area where the new pitch and putt golf course is going to be built. Looking at some of the preliminary drawings, it appears that about a third of this area is wetlands and will remain undeveloped. You can see Megison Road and the multimodal path in the upper right portion of the scene. I was a little shocked when I found out that this road had been opened. I didn't expect it to happen for several months. The lighter colored areas in the upper left are areas that are still under construction, and there's a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of heavy equipment moving in and out of that area, so please don't go back there in your golf cart. It's too dangerous, and there's really not a whole lot to see other than dirt being moved. The light area between the two ponds is scheduled to be another set of apartments. The Richmond apartments going in here will be about 200 units, so it's a little bit smaller than the Brownwood lofts. Speaking of the lofts, if you haven't taken the time to go look at these apartments, they're absolutely gorgeous, and it looks like they're getting ready to open up the next phase. Coming up is the emergency department that opened about a year ago. As we come back towards Brownwood, you can see in the upper right the bridge that goes over the lake. That didn't exist 2.5 years ago. This is the Zeal Recreation Center that's being built at the Sawgrass Grove area in the village of St. Catherine. I'll make another pass back over this lake in just a little bit. It truly is a gorgeous area. The roof on the Zeal Recreation Center has been shingled, and lots of interior work is underway. We're passing over the Putt and Play golf course. Zeal is about the same size as other regional recreation centers like Eisenhower, Rohan, and Lake Meona. We'll take a quick flight now over the Putt and Play golf course. You can see the drains are in, and they're starting to lay in the irrigation system. Putt and play golf is kind of like miniature golf, except on real grass and no dragons or windmills or clowns. Work has already started on one of the commercial buildings. You can see the layout of the foundation here. You can see the bocce and shuffleboard courts being laid out. And here's the layout for the pickleball courts, and of course the sports pool. This is that small lake again between the Zeal Recreation Center and the St. Catherine Neighborhood Recreation Center and Postal Station. We'll take another pass over it, and as you can see, there's a walking path that goes around the lake. We'll take a look around now at the area south of the Zeal Recreation Center. This is the village of Hamock. It's surrounded on two sides by the live oak 9 of the Southern Oaks Golf Course. Next we see Bexley Trail, and to its left is the Laurel Oak 9 of the Southern Oaks Golf Course, which surrounds on two sides the village of Citrus Grove. Megison Road continues down through the center of the screen, and to its left is the village of St. Catherine again. You can see lots of lakes here. Remember, a few years ago, there was no water here at all. This was all just pasture land. One of the unique features of the upcoming Southern Oaks Golf Course is that each 9-hole course is going to have 3 par 3s, 3 par 4s, and 3 par 5s, a little bit different than what we normally see. Here's the putt and play course in the village of Bradford up at the top of the screen, and another look at the Hamock area. As promised earlier, here's a look at the beams being put in place over the Water Lily Bridge for the section that spans over the natural gas pipeline. This is being played back at 10 times normal speed. This was a very slow and tedious process, and quite honestly, you'd be asleep by the time that you saw the first beam go into place if I played it back at normal speed. And this is how it looks now. The ramps are starting to be built up on both sides of the beams. You can see the ramp work on the north side of the bridge. You're probably wondering what the 10QV sign was that kept popping up during this video. Well, that's a new video series that I'm starting here in about 2 weeks. Its content complements the construction videos, and I'm sure you'll like it. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have. And until next time, I'm Don Wiley. Thanks again for watching.